What's interesting to me is that Superman, okay, with all of that Disney Marvel stand going behind it, is that Superman still outstripped the pre-sales, my understanding is pretty comfortably, of Fantastic Four. And I think Superman is going to engender perhaps a lot more curiosity and walk-up traffic, meaning no pre-sales, people that we can't even calculate yet, than will Fantastic Four. As it stands right now, I mean, this Superman could blow him out. Speaking of that, that's exactly what they're trying to do here with James Gunn's Superman. Warner Brothers, David Zaslav's Superman hits tracking with 90 to 125. Okay, so we just explained, again, this is not Sean Robbins. This isn't Box Office Theory. It's Deadline Magazine. They didn't have any tracking before this week. This hits tracking, meaning this is the first time that we are going to give you a figure on where we think this is going. And a lot of times with these films, with stuff like this, you won't even see Deadline drop a tracking figure until the week of. Superman isn't coming out this week. It's not coming out for another several weeks, right? It's coming out. This one's on July 2nd. No, July 2nd is Jurassic World. July 11th is Superman. Sorry. So this is still several weeks away. So for Deadline to be putting out a big early tracking article on a singular movie like this, nearly 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, whatever the hell it is right at this point, ahead of schedule is pretty cool, okay? But there's been nothing before to compare. So let's see what they say. Superman, the first movie, arrived on tracking with 125 to 145 outlook on NRG. So again, yet another site. Okay, another site, not Deadline. However, various distribution sources believe the real range for the domestic opening of the Gunn-directed movie is more than 90 to 125 range. In NRG's tracking, I don't know whether or not NRG's tracking is part of the algorithm for Sean's tracking on Box Office Theory. Everybody has different ways that they come to these numbers, right? So the key is that if you're gonna say, okay, let's look at Deadline. Now, if Deadline's at 100 or 90 to 125, if they give us a figure 4 days before Superman opens 2 weeks from now or whatever it is, and they say, well, that tracking is held, or that tracking has gone down, or that tracking has gone up, then we can say, okay, there's a problem. Because the same system is tracking using the same analytics, the same metrics, the same variables, the same algorithm is now saying that there's a shift in the winds, right? That's what you got to try to pay attention to. 90 to 125 million, and that's from distribution sources. So again, that's another. So now we've got Deadline using distribution sources. You got NRG out there, and you got Sean Russ. We got 3 now, and they're all saying different things, and we're still roughly 3 weeks away. Because he's a brand name, Superman pops on unaided awareness, the category where moviegoers polled automatically cite a movie they want to see without being prodded by a pollster, right? Because it's Superman. Everybody knows what freaking Superman is, right?
So does that mean Star Wars now would have unaided anti-awareness?
Yes, because there's no Ray movie now.
Unaided disdain? Maybe that's what it is?
Yeah. With a 30 in unaided awareness, it's higher than Top Gun Maverick. But is that the right comparable? Better to look at first choice, the definitely must-see category for those willing to get off their couch. In first choice, Superman is below post-COVID superhero movies such as Thor, Love and Thunder, The Batman, and James Gunn's Guardians 3. Okay, here's the thing, though. Remember the summer that Love and Thunder came out? Wasn't that like that was 2022? The theaters really there was no major summer blockbusters in 21. Remember, Black Widow was the first big thing, but it co-released on Disney+. And then all we got later in the year was Shang-Chi and the Eternals and all this other. There wasn't a big thing. 2022 came around, and we got a Chris Hemsworth, like an old school MCU, big time MCU film, or so we thought. And of course, it turned out to be a giant donkey turd. But 144, there was no competition. And people were excited about anything of that scale because a lot of them hadn't been to the theater to that point in 2 years or more than 2 years. So just keep that in mind. The Batman, that came out early 2022, right? Same kind of thing. You know, and that was even with.
Well, and this is what I don't understand is they're it already, as far as I know, unless I read it wrong or got some bad information, the pre-sales have already exceeded the Batman.
That's what I'm saying.
So right,
is that,
right there is a demographic you're going, so you're just going to ignore that? Like, and you're going to plump this in there and say, oh yeah, it's going to do this bad.
Well, so what they're saying is that the 30, like they have this score of a 30 in unaided awareness, okay? And that 30 is what they're scoring as being higher than Thor: Love and Thunder, The Batman, and Guardians 3. But again, my point is that take Guardians 3 out of there for a second, but Thor and The Batman were two of the first big movies to hit theaters after theaters really fully reopened again post-COVID. So I think it's a little bit different dynamic. Here's the rub. They say the first choice...
Yeah, there's a lot of different things. I'm not going to disagree with you there. Sorry.
Well, here's the point, Tom. This is why I don't like... Whatever they're using, this first choice thing, I don't think is working at all. First choice for this year's Captain America Brave New World was higher than Superman by 71% at the same point in time. What?
I say, didn't Brave New World's tickets go on sale like way earlier too, though?
That's what I'm saying, is that movie opened at 88 million, and they're saying that Brave New World's first choice in this metric was 71% higher.
Oh, this is where they ask people. Oh, this is that whole thing. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, it's like, unless you're asking the same 10 people, how is that the same thing?
Well, that's
or the same 100 people. Like,
And
I don't understand how you're getting that metric. But anyhow, sorry.
We
go
don't
ahead.
know. Like, well, here's the point. Now, imagine if we don't know what the sample size for this. Is it 10 people? Is it 100?
Right.
I promise you right now, if Mark Mitchell, our buddy from Rasmussen, was right back on this show right now, he'd be looking at this going, I would love to see the crosstabs and the sample size of this. see what's going on here. Because his brain, he's going to look at this and go, that just doesn't seem like it works. Like
it's like political polling, exactly.
The data set is shit, is the point. The data set is basically shit. If you're telling me that Superman is being beaten in this data set with this polling, whatever they're doing for this, asking people what's your first choice, you're telling me that Captain Falcon DEI is beating Superman by 71%, then Superman is going to have an opening weekend of $30 million. Okay? Or some stupid thing. That's not going to happen.
This is what I'm asking is, who are you asking, right? Because if you ask 100 people in one setting and 100 people in a completely different setting,
what if
unless
it's
it's
all, what if it's
controlled
all internet
group,
bots? What if it's all internet bots answering this?
You're getting to my point. You're getting basically to the same point I am. It's like, unless you absolutely positively know you have a controlled group of people that you're constantly checking in with, how do you know this group isn't being taken over by fucking Snyder bots or something like that?
I have no... Exactly. That's what I'm saying. This doesn't makes no sense.
If they really want a mind screw to go on right now, let me just say this. If anybody can look this up, if you go to Google Trends and search for the past 90 days, Superman 2025 versus the Fantastic Four First Steps, make sure both of those have the subtitle 2025 film, so you're doing an accurate comparison. If you search over the last 90 days, you'll see the entire month of June that Superman is pulling something like 3 times the online searches as Fantastic Four.
It's not even close. Listen, and the movies only come out 2 weeks apart. Superman comes out 2 weeks before Fantastic Four. They're not that far apart.
Well, if they're trying to pretend that Brave New World was tracking higher, then good Lord, Fantastic Four is gonna be under the floor.
Well, let me.
They're even leaving out the fact that Fantastic Four tried to boast that they had the biggest pre-sales in 2025, and Superman dwarfed that with one showing. One showing, that Amazon showing. That's my point. Yeah.
They crashed the servers, Tom. They couldn't handle the Fantastic Four interest. Couldn't handle it.
That's where this is going. So like that movie opened at 88 million, talking about Captain Falcon DEI. In addition, Superman's first choice is 64% behind that of Matt Reeves' The Batman in 22. Again, this doesn't make any sense to me. We already told you, and this is where Deadline kind of, I think, scratched their head and go, this seems weird. We already told you that Superman is the best advanced ticket seller in its first 24 hours for 2025. With the Pix Amazon Prime Early Access paid screenings flying off of Fandango's portal. I couldn't get my hands on one. I tried. I couldn't get my hands on one to save my life. Those screenings are on Wednesday, July 8th, 7 p.m. Again, same thing F1 is doing. Apple's doing with F1 tomorrow night. I got tickets for that. Very happy. 3 days before the Pix July 11th opening for Superman. Superman's pre-sales outstripped that of Disney Marvel Studios' upcoming Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, pardon me, what's interesting about that is because one of the things that Disney, especially Disney Marvel Pictures, do better than anybody else is front-loading that sucker. Like when their tickets go on sale, all the Disney Marvel stands run out there, and they go out and they buy their tickets as fast as they can. And that's how we wind up with some of these kind of cockeyed tracking estimates for Marvel movies early on, is because the pre-sales come in real fast, real hot, right? And then it just brick wall. The walk-up traffic never really happens for it. It doesn't back up the pre-sales. This is why Marvel movies in the modern era post-Endgame have such a relatively short shelf life. And again, there are some rare exceptions out there. But overwhelmingly, with the exception of Deadpool and Wolverine and Spider-Man, they hit a brick wall quickly. But what's interesting to me is that Superman, okay, with all of that Disney Marvel stand going behind it, is that Superman still outstripped the pre-sales, my understanding is pretty comfortably, of Fantastic Four. And I think Superman is going to engender perhaps a lot more curiosity and walk-up traffic, meaning no pre-sales, people that we can't even calculate yet, than will Fantastic Four. So, I mean, as it stands right now, I mean, this Superman could blow him out.
And I'm being accused of, being, as usual, I get this shit a lot, being some kind of gun-toting activist here, as in gun with two ends, not one. Look, I'm just calling it like I see it. Gun is Gun. Like, that has nothing to do with it. Superman could suck ass. Mm-hmm. We don't know that yet. That's the one thing is like, yes, we're seeing some things that give us, some things to worry about. I'm not denying that. Nobody's saying that. But what we do know for a fact is that the chances of Fantastic Four being good are next to none.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.